Since 1969, this voice has tried to awaken this sleeping world from its slumber. This voice of Goenkaji's guided every Vipassana practitioner during his entire life and guides even after his passing away. In this part of the documentary, dedicated to the year of birth centenary of this Dhamma man, let us understand his life journey, his childhood. How were his young days till the first course of Vipassana? Principal teacher of Vipassana, Mr. Goenka-ji, had a rich personality. Vipassana meditation technique, which was lost in India, was brought back from Myanmar to India, established in India, and then propagated throughout the world by him. Throughout his life, Goenka-ji continued to fulfill his responsibilities with utmost compassion. The aim was to provide happiness and peace to the people all over the world, to ensure their welfare in the spirit of Bahujan Hitaya, Bahujan Sukhai, Lokanukampaya, for the benefits and peace of many, with the compassion on people. He was born in a businessman family of Myanmar, grew up there and developed and cultivated his versatile talent. He was a very sensitive and extremely intelligent person since childhood. From every experience of life, he learned, adopted, and cultivated good qualities, just as a bee collects only honey. Respect towards elders in the family, respect for all the gurus, intense patriotism, opposition to social injustices, immense devotion towards his deities, study of teachings of various saints, utmost love for poetic couplets and the creative instinct, composing of Hindi literature, poetry, excellent oratory skills and countless virtues were embedded in him. The seeds of this prolific personality are reflected in the small experiences of his life, which offer immense inspiration. In the preface to his autobiography, he states with utmost clarity,
I am glad I passed through various fields of spirituality. Without it, I would have remained deprived of their experiences and remained unfamiliar. Perhaps this is what Dhamma wanted. Or I should say, the flow of sanskar fruits from my previous births wanted. I should evaluate my present achievements by personally experiencing them at different stages. I have now understood very well I was deluded due to ignorance. I was under the influence of popular belief about the flawless teaching of Lord Buddha. So that others, particularly Vipassana students, don't make the same mistake, it is essential that I shed some light on this very important topic based on the research I have done so far. People should know the truth, understand it, and avoid baseless criticism of Buddha's teaching. In the field of Dhamma, you should have the base of truth. Only then is it beneficial. This autobiography should not serve simply to satisfy the curiosity of people, but should also enhance their knowledge and guide them. I was very fortunate to be born into a devout religious family. The ambience at home was delightful, one of devout devotion. I inherited the devotion of Shri Krishna from my mother and devotion to Lord Shiva from my father. However, I never saw my grandfather engage in worship or prayer. Nor did I see him fasting or reading holy books. Although there was a Satyanarayana temple nearby, I never saw him go there either. We celebrated Krishnashtami festival with great pomp at home, without his presence. my aunt Chandabai would complain loudly, Bapu, for you neither Ram nor God, neither rosary nor gems, nor any pilgrimage ever exists. You are wasting your life away like this. Until I became 8, I remained in close contact with my grandfather. On every holiday, Baba would go to the Mahamuni temple. Me and my brother Babu Bhaiya would tag along. Initially, the attraction was the electric tram ride. The tram ride felt very delightful. Baba would go to the Mahamuni Buddha temple and sit there quietly for some time. I don't know if he meditated or simply just sat there, but there was a profound sense of peace there. I was born in this blessed land only because Baba had settled in Myanmar. I was born in a merchant family and I could have earned wealth and prosperity in any country. But in this land, I earned the priceless gem of pure Dhamma. Baba was such a great benefactor for me. Burma has had close ties with India for centuries. Migration and trade have happened over millennia. Virtuous people of India would journey to Brahmadesh, and many of their fortunate citizens would travel to India. Two merchants, Tapus and Bhallik, used to travel to India for trade. During one business trip, their caravan was passing through the Uruvela region by the pristine Niranjana river. There, they had the rare opportunity to see Lord Buddha. With great reverence, they offered him cakes made from Burmese rice and honey, and then returned to their country with that great memory. But Dhamma had a significant arrival in Burma only during the reign of Emperor Ashoka, when his guru, Mahasthavir Adant Mogaliputta Tissa, sent messengers to spread Dhamma in neighboring countries. Son and Uttar reached Burma with the jewel of Dhamma. My visits to Mahamuni temple with Baba displeased Mahadevji, my brother-in-law, a lot. About Baba, he would sometimes say, the influence his devotion to Buddha has on his psyche is dangerous. You children should stay clear of that. This created a conflict in my young mind. For me, Mahadevji was a great scholar. His pointing out that scriptures were never wrong bothered me a lot. Therefore, I kept myself away from Buddha's teachings. However, due to Baba's influence, I retained my faith in the compassionate personality of Lord Buddha. They say interest is always dearer than the principal amount. Likewise, a grandfather finds his grandson dearer than his son. Perhaps in response, the grandson also loves his grandfather more than his own father. Baba endured many struggles. Grandson reaped the pleasures, found the precious gem of Dhamma. Those days, no one locked the doors to their houses, not even the wealthiest residents. An incident: somewhere in the market of Mandalay, a woman had dropped her diamond earring. People would see it, but not pick it up. Every morning, the sweeper would lift it, sweep the floor, and then place it back on the same spot. 7 days later, a state official came to take his possession and made a public announcement. Any woman who had lost her earring should come and claim it from the authorities. Such was the standard of honesty in Burma. Foreigners came and the social system started deteriorating. People began using locks, locks were broken, and thievery began. Baba's words left a big impression on my young heart. He continued to inspire me throughout my life. Baba had great love for Brahmadesh and its people. He traded in garments that he sold in the hilly regions of eastern Myanmar. We cannot even imagine the hardships he must have endured during his travels. He was a strict Sanatani, a vegetarian. He had to carry a month's food on those 20-day journeys. Eating stale rotis and dry vegetables with pickles, it mustn't have been easy for him. Even drinking water was hard to come by. Baba, because of your deeds, I inherited this great country. Food and wealth became ample. Even pure Dhamma came by. Years later, when his 3 sons were old enough to work, they opened a small shop in Mandalay and started a steady trade. Gradually, the business expanded. In the last days of a person's life, the heart swells with feelings of gratitude toward all gurus whose memories arise in the mind. When my uncle Dwarka Dasji visited my ancestral town Churu for the construction of our Haveli there, he took me along with him. Thus, I had the occasion to study in a school in Churu for a period of 2 years. I studied under the tutelage of Kasu Guruji. Barakhadi or alphabet, numbers, tables, etc. He had the habit of saying how frequently in his conversation. Hence the children composed a rhyme to make fun of him. Kasu says, how? I am Kasu Ustau. At home, these words somehow slipped out of my mouth, and my aunt heard that. She was very upset. She held me by the ear and said, the one who imparts knowledge is worthy of worship and respect. One should never use such disrespectful words towards any guru. This scolding from my aunt awakened feelings of reverence towards Kasu Guruji and all other teachers. I never forgot this lesson, and since I have never uttered such words. After my primary education in Churu, I returned to my birthplace Mandalay when I was around 5. I resumed my education at the Marwari school in the old Marwari Dharamshala on 28th Street. The person who made the strongest impression on my young mind during those days was Dubeji. Dressed in his white dhoti and shirt and dark glasses, big broad smile. As far as I remember, the first book that I was made to study was a book of Hindi couplets called Rahiman Sudha. Rahim was a noble man and practiced what he preached. He was a high-ranking general in the Emperor Akbar's court. He dedicated a great portion of his earnings to charity. Rahim's writings created the first impression about the proper way of giving charity on my mind. While donating, his eyes would remain downcast. Someone asked him, why so? Rahim, the exemplary patron, responded, the giver is out of sight, bestowing me day and night. The world thinks it is me, so downcast are my eyes. Honorably better to die, facing difficulties low and high, remain free from vice, sacrifice, always give good advice. No matter how much difficulty one has to bear, even if it costs one's life, never lose your self-respect by begging for help and never resort to dishonesty by abandoning righteousness. This was a lesson I learned. In this world, live with compassion, be righteous, not mean. For a householder to extend one's hand when pitifully beg for help is tantamount to death. In the same way, not extending your hand to someone seeking help is equally cruel. The true purpose of a householder's life lies in continuously giving and being generous. Perhaps Dubeji introduced me to Rahim so that I understood that in our devotion we should make no discrimination between Hindus and Muslims or based on any race, caste, creed or social status. How Rahim was molding our society became even more clear to me over the next years when I studied the works of Tulsidas and Kabir. They all emphasize the importance of having correct speech. When your speech is free from vanity, you and the listener both feel peace and harmony. Fools give multiples, facing an abused single, Wise keep quiet, letting it remain a single. There could be no difference in words and actions. There could be no deception in the name of religion, have false pretense or ignorance. These couplets that expose superstition help avoid them, and they have been instrumental in shaping the course of my life. Baba was very fond of reading newspapers. Even at that young age, my knowledge of Hindi was way above average. Due to his poor eyesight, he would make me read them to him every day. He took great interest in the politics of Myanmar and India. The sentiment of patriotism deeply ingrained in his heart greatly influenced me. He used to eagerly listen to every news about the freedom movement. This also had a great impact on my psyche. Reading newspapers every day became a kind of addiction. Once, Master Dubeji arranged for me to make a speech 7-8 pages long at a fair. When Baba found out, he said that reading is not as impactful as reciting from memory. That was it. I now feel he was training me for the future. My interest in poetry, recitation and drama kept increasing, and I participated in several plays. I enrolled in Khalsa school for my 3rd grade studies. There I took part in 2-3 plays as well. In my last days at school, I played the role of Emperor Ashoka. Future Prime Minister of Burma, Unu, had come to see it. These 2 events at that young age forever removed any hesitation or fear of speaking on the stage. The seeds of devotion to God and nation that Dubeji sowed in me at school grew at home as well. Due to Dubeji's teaching, I became an obedient and respectful son, learned to respect the elders, and loving and caring sibling. This proved to be the nectar of family life. One day, elderly Baba fell ill. Within a few days, his condition worsened. Baba opened his eyes. Everyone bowed in reverence. Baba smiled. He raised his hand and blessed us. And the breath he released did not return. By the time I was 7, I had already witnessed aging, sickness, and death at close quarters. And I had seen Baba passing through all the 3, smiling. He was a great saint. I studied up to matriculation level at Khalsa school in Mandalay. The life story of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the 10th Guru, attracted me like a magnet. By ending the division of caste, he helped us to cast away discrimination in society. No one is untouchable nor impure, he said. If you are human, you are pure, you are Khalsa. No one is untouchable, no one impure. All humans should be seen as one. If only the whole country accepted this. All the teachers at Khalsa school were very good. But there was one incident which caused some bitterness. School had a rule: no child should come to school after playing Holi. But on the day of Holi, on my way to school, another child sprinkled ink from his fountain pen on me. When we reached school, the teacher became very angry. I was not spared the teacher's cane. This really upset me. The next day, I told the truth to the teacher and also apologized for the ill feeling that I had harbored towards him. This made him very happy, and his affection towards me increased even more. My revered father Gopi Ramji's elder brother, Dwarka Das Ji, was getting along in years, and his health was also failing. He had no sons. My father was worried about him. he decided that I should be Dwarkadas Ji's adopted son. This was in the year 1937 when I was around 13 years old. My elder brother Babulal was 1.5 to 2 years older than me, but we were always together like twins. My mother's attachment to me and mine to her was limitless. Even the thought of being away from my mother seemed unbearable. But seeing my father's boundless devotion to his elder brother and hearing him speak words of gratitude for him, I could not protest even a bit. And then I would also see that my uncle had a divine, unassuming nature, and my aunt, like a living statue of a goddess, always remained calm. Therefore, I accepted the father's decision. I used to stand first in every exam at school, but my family members had decided to permit my education for only 2 more years. My elder brother Babulal had stopped studying after the 7th grade. There seemed only one way to secure double promotion after the 7th grade, meaning I would skip the 8th grade and go straight to 9th if I were to matriculate. The headmaster was confident that I would do well in my studies. I got the double promotion, and in the 10th grade, I stood first in entire Myanmar. About 1.5 years after my adoption, my aunt, Taima, gave birth to Radheshyam. Seeing this, my heart was filled with joy. But also a sense of obstinance arose, and I went to my father with a request. Take me back now. I am not sad to be there, but being away from my mother is unbearable to me. My father became a bit stern and said, Your uncle has always been so unwell. Now you have a special responsibility towards him. Fulfilling this responsibility is your solemn duty. Since childhood, Ramcharitmanas had deep influence on me. Leaving behind his kingdom to live in the forest was no simple matter for Ram. But a father's command is a father's command. And so, I followed my father's order. After this, the longing to sit in the lap of my loving mother never arose in me. By the time I was 14, I came in contact with Arya Samaj. There was a new Arya Samaj temple built close to our house. There I came in contact with my Arya Samaj Gurudev, Mangaldev Ji Shastri, and that led to developing the faculty of greater skepticism, of not accepting anything on blind faith without proper scrutiny. This opened a new dimension of contemplation for me. One bit of history particularly impressed me. He explained that the caste system of ancient India was based on qualities, conduct, and nature of the individual, and not on birth. It was also news to my ears that a lot was added to our religious scriptures over time, which was false, therefore misleading and unacceptable. The teachings of Arya Samaj deeply influenced me. Between the age of 14 and 18, along with my teenager friends, I made many unsuccessful attempts to stop child marriage, old age marriage, and other such social evils. I also read Maharshi Dayanand Saraswatiji's masterpiece, Satyarth Prakash, which opened up many new dimensions of contemplative discourse. Many flaws were also pointed out in Buddha's teachings, which I was unable to fully comprehend at that time. But what became certainly clear was that Buddha's teachings were definitely flawed. Despite securing a scholarship, I was unable to pursue my education after matriculation. The elders opposed my education. They told my father, if he is opposing the ancient social systems at this age itself, who knows what he will do after studying further? My father said to me, you are not to take up a job. Matriculation is enough for a trader. Now get into business and learn its intricacies. You will have to sit at the shop. Thus, my college education was halted. But I continued to study Hindi at home and kept taking private examinations. I joined my family business at the age of 16, and at 18 got married. With success in all areas of life as I stepped into youth, my mind filled with arrogance, desire, anger, and ego. Whenever I would get overpowered by any of these three vices, I would spend the next day's morning prayers by shedding tears for half an hour and singing such hymns as, "You are kind and generous, I am a lowly beggar. You are the destroyer of sins, I am a lowly sinner." Or in a timid voice, I would beg of mercy from God. "If I am very bad, then I am your bad child. If I am impure, then I am your impure child. You have to fix your own child." And I always had full faith that my Lord is an ocean of infinite compassion. Seeing my pitiful condition, He would definitely have mercy on me. Many other beliefs of Arya Samaj had a deep impact on my mind. But despite that influence, I did not leave the devotion to Sagun Sakar, that is worship of form, and turn towards Nirgun Nirakar, which is formless worship. I was sad to see how devotion to God became prevalent in the form of lover and beloved. Why was devotion preached on even the illicit relation between lovers? All these were done by these money-loving poets so that their lust-loving patrons would have no hesitation in committing even the worst misdeeds in the field of sensual enjoyment. I understood very clearly that these amorous poets were not heretics. It is clear that their only aim was to earn money and respect in the royal court. Their greed for money and fame had caused much harm to nation and society. I felt that due to such characterless sensual poems, morality, bravery and courage also declined in the country. Therefore, instead of considering the teachings of Lord Buddha as the only reason for the weakness of the country, I started considering the sensualist poets of this period responsible as well. In Myanmar, there was a fervor to promote Hindi. We established Akhil Brahmadesh Hindi Sahitya Sammelan to start promoting Hindi. A weekly education camp was organized. I started teaching Hindi at a nice school. We contacted the Bharat Nagari Pracharani Sabha Varanasi, Rashtrabhasha Prachar Samiti Varda, and Hindi Sahitya Sammelan Prayag. We ordered books, arranged study groups in Myanmar, and organized examinations. Though I had studied Hindi only till the middle level, I was able to help some students pass the higher examinations as well. I was fond of composing poems since childhood. My poems were mainly written on literary patriotism in praise of leaders, my birthplace Myanmar, the land of Rajasthan and its heroes, their social contribution, family, festivals, etc. Like on Netaji, can India ever forget your unmatched sacrifice? Every nook and corner will echo your story, it will never die. On the greatness of India, Ram was born here, so was Krishna and Buddha. Gods yearn to be born here in the holy land of India. On the sacrificial offering, you, the teacher of sacrifice, true woman of India, sacrificed your family, gave your heart to India. The couplets that I had heard from Baba were full of Dhamma. I was very fond of those couplets. Perhaps this is why the urge to compose couplets deepened in me. The influence of Arya Samaj kept increasing on me, and my yearning to reform society became stronger. Both my elder brothers, Balkrishna and Babulal, were married at the age of 15, whereas according to the Sharda Act, they should have married only after they turned 18. When it was my turn, I was adamant that I be married only after I turn 18. My family members and society refused to accept my decision. A famous Indian astrologer was staying at the neighboring Arya Samaj temple for a few days. He looked at the lines on my palm and said that I would live a long life. But around the age of 18, there was a threat of death. On hearing this, I became very happy and took him home, where he repeated the same prediction. My job was done. Another incident about my rebellious nature. Through the Arya Samaj, I learnt that there was a time in our country when only Brahmins and Kshatriyas were called Dvij, that is twice born. Only they were permitted to have the Upanayana Sanskar, which is the thread ceremony. When the Vaishyas or merchants became wealthy, they also acquired the same status. Now only the lower castes were left out. But the priestly castes were unwilling to convert them into Dvij by performing their thread ceremony. Therefore, I came to understand that the high position of caste is bought by money and not by virtues. I decided that as long as this discrimination continued in society, I will not wear the sacred thread. In my father's eyes, it was necessary to wear the sacred thread in order to maintain social status. But I pointed out to my father that there was hearsay about our ancestral priest who performed the thread ceremonies in our family. There was harsh criticism being made in hushed tones about his character. So also the case with the priest from the temple near our house who became infamous due to some misconduct. I told my father, how can I accept a person of bad character as my religious leader? He was perplexed. My objective was achieved. I became forever free from the bondage of the sacred thread and remained a low caste Shudra throughout my life. My brother Babulal also became adamant that he too would not wear the sacred thread. I was married at the age of 18 in the year 1942. And within 2 weeks, with the start of the Japanese invasion, all sea and air routes to India were closed. I traveled to India with my entire family, crossing the hazardous border mountains of Burma on foot to the region of Rajputana, state of Bikaner, the town of Churu, where I took refuge in my ancestral home. Devi Ilaichi went to her hometown of Junjunu. A few months later, she came to Churu and started living with us. The first 2 of my 6 sons were born in Churu. After the end of the Second World War in 1947, when the entire family returned to Burma, then Ilaichi Devi's responsibilities began to increase even more. Raising the children, serving her 2 mothers-in-law, being responsible for the entire household. She dutifully managed it all like a skilled, devoted housewife. While in Churu, we noticed a woman carrying the toilet waste of the household in a basket on her head. Contempt for our corrupt social system and feelings of anger flared up in my mind. Some feeble voices had begun to be raised in protest against this inhuman custom. The most vocal of them was the voice of Baba Sahib Ambedkar in Maharashtra and the active movement of Ramaswamy Naikar in the south. Both of them had strong voices which led to concrete results in the coming days. All the people I met in Churu were great admirers of Lord Buddha, but highly critical of his teachings. According to them, Lord Buddha was an extreme pessimist. Due to that, an atmosphere of despair and discouragement was created in the nation. In his teachings, all the importance has been given to the impermanent nature of the world. There is neither any goal nor any guidance to get out of this worldly cycle. All his teachings are only negative. His teachings may be suitable for renunciates, but are completely useless for householders. Being a teacher of absolute non-violence, his teachings weakened our country. Even a mighty warrior like Ashoka had fallen into Buddha's trap and broke his sword. Due to this psychological impact of my brother-in-law's earlier statements became stronger and stronger. When I reached India, the political atmosphere had become very heated. On 8th August, Gandhiji made the revolutionary announcement, "Do or die." I also took a liking to this attitude. I felt that along with the public awareness aroused by Gandhiji on the basis of love and non-violence, a revolution of our scriptures would also be encouraged in the nation. Personally, I was attracted towards the heroic style of Hindi and Rajasthani literature, and so I studied a lot of literature related to the same. After our return to India, we lived a life of hardship because a lot of our wealth had been left behind in Burma. On one hand, I was busy in the search for making a livelihood, while on the other, I was taking care of Taima and family while securing an education for Radhesham, my adopted brother. While traveling in India, I was affected by cough. At one time, after coughing, I noticed some blood in the phlegm. When I reached Churu, I consulted a doctor. He said that it was probably TB. I was advised to go to Jaipur and get a chest X-ray done. On the way was town of Junjunu, where lived my friend from childhood. My friend insisted that I stay at his place for a day while I was on my way to Jaipur. So I stayed there for a night. In that neighborhood, there also lived an old friend of mine from Burma. Formerly, he used to be a TB patient. My friend invited him to have breakfast with us. Meanwhile, my friend's old father came out of his room. In conversation, when he discovered that I could be a TB patient, he got alarmed. He made separate arrangements for the two of us, TB patients. Although the food had already arrived in separate plates, we were made to eat our breakfast from the same plate. For tea, we were only served clay tumblers. My friend was very disturbed, and I was also disturbed by this seemingly untouchable treatment. On reaching Jaipur, I got the X-ray done and it was diagnosed that I did not have TB. This experience, reminiscent of the excruciating circumstances faced by the untouchables who were being crushed for thousands of years, shocked me. And then, despite being a supreme theist, I felt a furious anger rising towards God, who may not have created such an inhuman situation. But why did he not punish those who created it, propagated it, believed in it? In the midst of such injustice, how could he remain watching silently? And then, that stormy poem. With atrocities galore, why no voice is heard? Earth does not crack, why does the sky not break? Why does lightning not strike us? There exists no Ishwar, nor any Jagdish. There exists no Dharam, nor real Puran. Who made humans unequal, not ek saman? In those days, another reason for the enslavement of our country came to light. Over the past few centuries, the division in the country based on upper-lower caste, race and religion, untouchable, touchable, high and low, had become so strong that due to these same divisions, our society was unable to unite when faced against foreign invaders. Secondly, in this system, the people from the lower classes were lured to side with the foreign invaders who told them, "Why do you live in such a Dalit state? We harbor no high or low discrimination of any sort. We all sit together and eat food from the same big plate. You are also welcome to sit and eat with us together." Due to these reasons, multitudes of people from the non-upper classes abandoned their society and joined those who did not discriminate against them. And as a result, the power of the invaders increased and the country became weak. I had heard that Lord Buddha considered a person to be superior or inferior only on the basis of their qualities and actions. I found that to my liking. Regarding the rest, I felt that at least this one teaching of Lord Buddha is rather excellent. As to the rest, I remained as skeptical as before. The assessment of the atrocities committed on women by another corrupt social system by the poet Maithili Sharan Gupta seemed very factual. Clever males wrote the scriptures, putting women under strictures, reserved all the privileges and pelf, leaving women to fend for him and self. What good can God get from this? Selfish men wrote such texts in which the exploitation of women was given the stamp of religion. I spent the remaining portion of the World War in the Malabar region for approximately 4 years in a small town in Kerala called Kannur. The land of Kerala is very pretty, with greenery throughout the year. The rich and poor dress alike each other. Everybody is educated. The driver of the bus which I often took to Kannur was B.A. and the conductor M.A. and that too in English literature. I remained engrossed in my business day and night. Although in business matters I earned unexpected success, having no companions with whom I could speak in my language made life seem dull to me. From my initial professional experiences while living there, it became clear that whenever the government controls businesses or establishes a system of licenses, permits and quotas, then only one of the two can earn, either the businessman or the corrupt government officials. When I returned to my birthplace Burma, my heart was filled with joy. As soon as I arrived, I got engrossed in my business. That was the necessary thing to do. In post-war Burma, I joined the Burma Marwari Chamber of Commerce and became its president. Also became the member of an advisory committee to the Ministry of Trade in the independent Burmese government. Established the Rangoon Chamber of Commerce and Industry and also held the post of its president for a few years. Was the chief executive of the All Burma Indian Congress. By dint of being an active member of the managing committee of the Ramakrishna Mission Sevashram, I got the favorable opportunity to participate in Indian cultural events. And again, by being a member of the managing committee of the Ramakrishna Mission Sevashram, I also got the meritorious opportunity to serve at their hospital. Along with Dr. Om Prakash and many other friends in post-war Burma, we established the All India Hindi Literature Conference, supported the daily Prachi Prakash, the weekly Pravasi, and the monthly Brahma Bharati. Due to my sociable nature, I came in close contact with the prominent religious, cultural, educational and political leaders over there and also became good friends with many of them. I recall that when Baba spoke about Burmese kings, he would at times speak about a great general called Bandula. Baba believed that he was a very brave and patriotic commander, but alas, he was killed by the British in a war. The Burmese people have immense respect for their army chiefs. In those days, we imported lungis from Malabar in Kerala. We had a vendor from Malabar who used to visit Mandalay on a regular basis. He told us that if we wanted, we could put our own trademark label on those lungis. At that time, the name Bandula appeared in my mind. After the Second World War, when I returned and started my business, I developed a natural attachment to this name, Bandula, as it was of my choosing. Hence the name Bandula was used for the companies we established in those days. Bandula Blanket Mills, Bandula Plastics, Bandula Bran Oils, Bandula Textiles, and these names did become popular. There was also another reason for this popularity. Due to the deep impact of Baba's ethical business policies on us, we would ensure that the customer is never cheated in terms of quantity and quality. In 1950, at the annual General Conference of All India Marwari Association in Calcutta, I took the permission of the President sitting on the stage and presented an amendment to the evil of dowry system by giving a vigorous speech for 10-15 minutes in high faulting words. One of the members pointed out that what was implied is that a daughter can have no rights in her parents' property, because even if her parents wanted to give her anything voluntarily, they would not be able to do so. To clarify the matter, I said that parents can naturally, out of paternal love, give their daughter after marriage or whenever they want to, as much wealth as they wish. But it should not be part of the marriage, nor should it be given on the occasion of the marriage. As per my resolve, I followed this in letter and spirit. On the occasion of my younger brother Radheshyam's or my sixth son's wedding, there was no exchange of dowry. Those days, I got the opportunity to study the Gita and the Upanishads in depth. I would make speeches on the nuances of Vedanta, analyze the situational wisdom and non-attachment principle from the Gita. The audience would be impressed. But after returning home, I would cry all alone and be miserable for a long time, regretting there was not a single sign of wisdom or detachment in me, only a mass of defilements. Neither any energizing devotion towards the God could pull the defilements out, nor any philosophical convictions based on intellectual gymnastics. Day by day, these derangements increased, anxiety also increased. In those days, due to many business trips that I made to almost all the nations of the East Asia, which revere the Buddha, I observed the immense devotion of these people towards Lord Buddha. My faith in Buddha also grew. But yet, the complaint that due to Buddha's teaching of absolute non-violence, weapons were renounced and India became weak and enslaved continued in my mind. This was a thorn whose pain and sting kept pricking my patriotic heart time and again. At times, an important question would arise. Why did the non-violent teachings of the same Buddha not make these other nations weak, not make them enslaved? But then I would convince myself by thinking that surely there must have been some other reasons for these nations not following India's fate. I noticed that in the last 5-7 years, my responsibilities in running not just my business, but also the many social organizations had compounded to such a high level that their burden had started causing mental stress. Apart from this, there was also the arrogance of my having achieved success at young age, coupled with an angry, aggressive disposition, which was not any less tormenting. Taking rest, relaxing yoga, I even made some time for devotional songs and chants, but to no avail. Since early childhood, as far as I could remember, I had been plagued by migraine pains. In those days, I would suffer from a migraine attack once a year or so. My birth mother would get worried. She would place my head on her lap and then, using ghee or almond oil, she would massage my head for a while. In a short time, a tingling sensation would arise in my head and gradually spread throughout my body. All trace of pain would vanish, and I would fall asleep with my head on her lap. The frequency of this started increasing to 2-3 times a year. By the age of 25, this interval between attacks started decreasing till it was happening every 15 days or so. The pain became so unbearable that the doctor had to administer opium injections. Physician Dr. Om Prakash was like a family member. He treated me like his own brother, and he was very worried. Then one day, my friend U Chathun suggested that I should see the Accountant General of the Burmese government, Sayagyi Khin, who taught a special type of meditation. This will surely cure your disease. I returned home without giving him any answer. He took my silence as acceptance and fixed a meeting and then informed me. I fell into a dilemma. How could I accept a Buddhist practice? I chant the words Om Namah Shivaya. They will make me chant Om Namah Buddhaya. What will happen if by chanting this I became a Buddhist? Better to live with this incurable migraine even if I were to die suffering from it. Sayagyi Khin was a high-ranking government official. If after making the appointment I did not go to meet him, it will be taken as an act of disrespect. Despite 1,000 hesitations, at the given appointed time, I managed to reach the residence of Sayagyi Khin. I noticed that he was alone at home, and there was a serene look on his face. Such a saintly person. Within minutes of speaking to him, I felt so much peace, like the whole atmosphere was full of peace. So I told him, I wish to attend your 10-day course. He knew that I was some sort of a leader in the Indian Hindu community and seemed happy to meet me. Then he said, this is for everybody. This path is beneficial to all, and we won't be converting you. You are here to do your own work. The Ganges of Dhamma is for all. Before leaving, I clarified, I am here because common acquaintance U Chathun sent me here to find a cure for my migraine. I have to take morphine to get relief. I haven't found a cure anywhere else. Sayagyi reacted, don't come to me even by mistake. I was stunned. He knew my status as an Indian businessman and industrialist. He would have known about my extensive social work. He would also have had some idea of my connections amongst political circles. Any worldly guru would have jumped at the prospect of getting a wealthy, influential person as a disciple. Not Sayagyi. He was asking me in the most candid manner not to come. This candidness drew me even more towards him. Then he spoke very lovingly. Getting rid of the headache is only a byproduct. If you start a sugar factory, what would it be for? Sugar and not molasses, right? Molasses is a mere byproduct. Similarly, the migraine cure is also a byproduct. As you progress, all ailments related to the body or mind will automatically fall away, but do not come with that intention. He continued, is there any opposition to Shila or morality in your Hindu religion? I said, no, we are in favor of it. Sayagyi asked, is there any opposition to Samadhi or concentration? I replied, our holy books are replete with instances of sages immersed in Samadhi. We have nothing against Samadhi. Sayagyi said, Samadhi certainly purifies the superficial layer of the mind, but deep down inside, the accumulated stock of old vices remains dormant. To eliminate that, we teach pragya or wisdom. Is pragya acceptable? How can there be any opposition to the elimination of vices, Sayagyi? We have none. Shil, Samadhi or pragya are absolutely acceptable. Sayagyi said, this is all that we teach in Vipassana, Shil, Samadhi, Payya. These are the teachings of Lord Buddha which have come here from India. If you want to learn this, then do come and join. As a student, I never begged my God to pass me with high marks, nor ever for wealth. I would only beg for good conduct. I don't know why my God's grace never shone on me. Despite having infinite devotion towards Buddha, somehow I looked down on his teachings. The main hesitation seemed to be, oh, it would make me a Buddhist. I'll become an apostate and go to hell. To develop morality, the practice of samadhi is definitely effective. But even better is pragya, which gives freedom from mental defilements. Did Lord Buddha really teach all this? Through the words of Sayagyi Khin, I could clearly see the truth of my emotions. Why would he lie to me? If this knowledge really brings freedom from defilements, then whether I get relief from migraine or not, I should definitely make good use of it. Days passed waiting for the course to start. 2 days before the start of the course, I was afflicted by a severe migraine attack. Someone said, "Oh, this is to stop you from entering Buddha Dhamma. The higher powers are giving you a warning." But I remained unshaken by such statements. On 1st of September 1955, I reached the ashram to attend the first 10-day course. As soon as I reached the ashram, I kept my luggage in the given accommodation and went to pay my respects to Gurudev Sayagyi Khin. There, I found a small booklet on the first page of which was quoted the words from Kalama Sutta. "Come, people of Kalama, do not accept anything simply because you have heard it. Do not accept anything simply because it is a traditional belief passed down for generations. Do not accept anything simply because it is in accordance with religious scripture. Do not accept anything simply because it seems logical or seems justified. Do not accept anything simply because its preacher has a great personality or its preacher is your guru. O Kalama, only when you know through experiential truth that the Dhamma is wholesome, innocent, praised by experienced and intelligent people, and that if accepted completely, it would be beneficial and a joy for everyone. Then Kalamas accept it and also live up to it." Gurudev Sayagyi Khin said, despite Buddha's personality being grand and revered, he forbade people from accepting his teachings out of blind faith. Upon reading these statements of Lord Buddha and hearing them from Gurudev, I was greatly reassured. Roughly a year ago, a short distance from the ashram on the Form Road near the Shanti Stupa, in the huge artificial Saptaparni cave, 2,500 scholarly monks from different countries were busy reciting the Tipitak, engaged in the sacred undertaking of holding the Sixth Council. Back then, I did not have the slightest knowledge of its historical importance. I was appointed a member of the council's food committee. The responsibility on my part was not very big. I only had to arrange for the food of the vegetarian monks and householders. Whether I had any knowledge or interest in this council or not, I was certainly interested in donating vegetarian food. From amongst those who had come from India, only 3-4 were vegetarians. It was a pleasure to serve them, but it wasn't a matter of great importance. I really realized the importance of this great event after completing the 10-day Vipassana course. After the course, Sayagyi Khin told me that the second reign of Buddha would begin with the transmission of Pragyamaya Vipassana. This was an ancient belief. It was in the important year of transition between the two reigns of Buddha that I came upon the priceless gem of Vipassana. This was an unexpected coincidence. The course began. Gurudev taught the practice of Anapana, and I started practicing being aware of the in and out breath. The morning sadhana went well. Then around 11 a.m. we gathered in the dining room and Gurudev asked each student about their sadhana. There were only 5-7 students in the course, and all of them said that they saw some light. In my case, I had not seen any light. There was merely a very intense sensation of itching and tingling under the nose. And that's what I told him. But after lunch, everyone went upstairs to their respective rooms. I started feeling dissatisfied. In those days, I used to be a very egoistic person. The slightest failure or the smallest unwanted incident would become unbearable to me. Back then, if anyone approached me in that state, I would get irritated and lash out at them for no reason. I would want to remain alone and immersed in despair. Nothing would feel nice, and now the same thing started happening. I didn't even feel like going to the meditation room. I forced myself to go, but I could not observe even a couple of breaths. My mind could not focus for even a moment. I got out of the meditation room and returned to my accommodation. I remained laying down for a while, tossing and turning in bed, but the restlessness kept increasing. Again and again, feelings of inferiority kept arising in my mind. Feelings of defeat began to arise. I started wondering, what kind of trap have I fallen into? The sadhana seems good. All the students seem to be benefiting, but I am not worthy enough to do this sadhana. Their life is simple and virtuous, but I am a businessman full of weaknesses. All of them saw divine light. I am the only one who has been left behind. Where is the divine light for me? My car is coming at 5 o'clock. I will return home in my car. But then my good fortune arrived. A woman passed by in front of my room. She was my acquaintance, Professor Dhamma Ka. She was surprised to see my crestfallen expression. And she asked me, why was I sad? I replied, this sadhana is not suitable for me. Or should I say, I am not worthy of this sadhana. Dhamma Ka said, why has this sense of inferiority arisen in your mind? I said, I am not going to get any success. Why should I waste my time? Dhamma Ka laughed and said, after lunch, Guruji was praising your sadhana a lot. You have started to clearly feel the sensations below the nostrils. Very few people can feel this on their very first day. Consider yourself as fortunate. But I thought in my mind, what is there in these sensations? The main thing is divine light. In our devotion tradition, the sighting of the divine light is of prime importance. Dhamma Ka said, Guruji had asked you to give importance to the sensations. If you see any light, then it's okay. But at this stage, the main focus for us are the sensations around the nostrils. Later on, these same sensations will spread throughout, and due to this, your sadhana will be successful. There is no doubting your success. Dhamma Ka said, wait one more night. If you want to leave, then decide tomorrow morning. Now, when you sit in meditation, do not give any importance to light. If you get such an intense sensation below the nostril, just concentrate on that with your breath. This is what will do the job. I sat in the meditation hall at 6 o'clock in the evening. Along with the breath, I tried to focus all my concentration on the sensations below the nostrils. I remembered that Guruji had also said the same thing. I became focused and started meditating. Within a few minutes, I could see light on this side and light on that side. I made up my mind that I would have nothing to do with the divine light. The sensations that I feel around the nostrils will be the sole object of my sadhana. After some time, divine sounds began to be heard. A seemingly infinite sound began to be heard. But these divine sounds could not distract me. I stayed focused on the sensations. At 9 p.m. that day, when I came out of the meditation hall, I was very pleased. Now there was no question of running away. Extremely promising progress continued to be made. When I got Vipassana after 2 days, it was an unprecedented experience. An inner world that had remained completely unknown till now. When Gurudev checked, he said, "What you have received is very valuable. Now you have to see that it is not lost." While rising, sitting, eating or drinking, in all situations, the inner wisdom should remain awake. Engrossed in my sadhana, the days flew by. Strange experiences kept occurring. Only vibrations, no trace of solidity anywhere. By the end of the course, I felt my mental burden had been lifted, felt I could fly. With the correct knowledge of Lord Buddha's teaching, the outer shell was broken and a new world became visible within. Just like a chick living in an egg knows nothing about the world outside. Now I felt that I have really become a Dvij, a new birth within a birth. This was achieved traditionally by completing the ritual of wearing a sacred thread. I wondered, does one really become a Dvij through a ceremony? Here, by breaking the shell of the egg of ignorance, I became a Dvij. I was blessed with great grace. I realized that the claims made of this knowledge being auspicious were very truthful. After 10 days of practice, the mental defilements did start fading away. Stress started fading away, and as a result, the terrible disease of migraine went away. By daily practice of Vipassana, lust, anger, ego, despair, and many such defilements, which on arising used to fill the mind with restlessness, now started calming down. It was really revealing that I did not see any fault in this practice. It was completely innocent. It was completely beneficial. In the very first course, I found Vipassana to be so pure that my spiritual quest was fully resolved. The practice seemed practical and scientific. It also became clear to me that the responsibility for polluting my mind lies 100% with myself. Therefore, the responsibility to improve it is also mine. The Guru's grace is such that he shows us the path with great compassion. But every step on the path will have to be taken by us. That someone else will carry us on their shoulders and take us to a liberated state. I was completely freed from that deception. Your freedom is in your hands, your hard work is your own effort. As far as the sadhana was concerned, there was not even an iota of scope for any doubt. What is even there to doubt? The direct benefits that I received were life-changing. The essence of religion was captured. Got rid of emotional upheavals forever. Got complete freedom from useless intellectual arguments. The web of false beliefs was torn. Communal pride was shattered. The clear moonlight of pure religion started spreading in every area of life. The roots of desires began to get uprooted. The fire of anger started to subside. True happiness and peace began to permeate my life. Finding Vipassana Vidya to be absolutely flawless aroused the curiosity in my mind that I should study the original words of the Buddha. There must surely be some hidden flaws in it, due to which Buddha's teaching became so infamous in our country that it was expelled from India. And so I started reading the words of Buddha, one book after another. Found everyone completely innocent, full of purity of religion. Then I also studied our Sanskrit texts. From this it became clear that the allegations against Buddha's teachings for centuries did not seem to have any solid basis. These allegations were made when an entire text of the Buddha's original speech and the beneficial teaching of Vipassana had completely disappeared from the country around 500 years after Lord Buddha. Whatever allegations were made were due to lack of correct information, or due to ignorance, or deliberate hatred. Delegations were repeated countless times in the last 1,000-1,500 years. Therefore, the great scholars and intelligent people of the country also considered them to be correct and expressed their opinions on the basis of this study. In the same context, the question arose, did the teachings of Buddha put the country's security in danger? I also did some research on this. It was found that Lord Buddha had from time to time given such advice to his disciples who were kings and army commanders on how to protect the country and equip the army. Yes, never attack another country out of lust for power. But if someone attacks your nation, definitely oppose it with the army. Emperor Ashoka had also followed this advice. He built a grand army and protected his vast empire. So it is certain that a false imputation was imposed on Buddha's teaching. In fact, my research revealed that the kings had drowned in the intoxication of alcohol and lust. And having lost their bravery, they surrendered before the foreign invaders. Similarly, the corrupt caste system spread throughout the country had hollowed it out. The strength of the country became weak. All the states could not unite to fight the foreign invaders. The study of Buddha's pronouncements made it clear that Buddha's teachings are not sad or pessimistic, but provide immense happiness and peace, and provide a real sense of positivity, not only beneficial to monks, but equally beneficial to householders. Despite being an advocate of non-violence, it will not make you weak, but will make you strong and will show the path to complete liberation from the cycle of life and death.
Sabhikamangale Siramangale